piece is almost too big to split with a maul. Does anybody else ever struggle when trying to split wood with a maul by hand? Now, we all know the best way to split wood is with a hydraulic wood splitter behind a tractor or a small gas-powered one. But if you only have a couple pieces to do like this, typically a splitting maul is the best option. Now, for a smaller piece, like maybe this one, I could probably do it with a maul, but I struggle sometimes with bigger pieces like this. Now, you can tell this is a pretty hefty piece of wood here. It's pretty big. So this is all ash. It was all cut last year, so it's had about 12 months to age indoors, and it was already dead when we cut it. So this is about as dry as it's going to get. And I still struggle sometimes with the maul. It may be the one that I'm using. As you can see, it's pointed here. It's a lot more pointed here, so you got to cut in a ways before it starts trying to split the wood. With an older style, kind of more of a classic maul, would probably look more like this wedge, kind of more blocky, to where as soon as it hits the wood, it's trying to, blow it apart. But I'll demonstrate for you, like with this bigger piece of wood. I'm not a huge guy, but I'm putting a pretty good amount of force into it. And basically all it's doing is just digging in and not really making a good split like I want. So this is a little trick. I'm sure people who cut wood on a regular basis and burn wood for heat in their homes, they probably know this trick, so I'm not teaching you anything new. But to anybody that doesn't know, the better way to split big pieces of firewood is actually with a wedge and a sledgehammer. It can be difficult to actually get the wedge started, so I like to make a couple hits with the maul first to make a good indentation, and then set this wedge in here. Get it sitting there. You gotta give her a good whack. So by making a couple marks with the splitting maul, gives a spot for the wedge to really get started. Now this may take more hits than it might with a maul, but if you think about it, a maul, you're hitting at about 100% energy every time. To where with this, I'm letting the weight of this hammer do the majority of the work. This is a 12-pound sledge, and I'm basically lifting it up, lifting it up about 2 feet to 3 feet, and let it drop. And you can see how many hits it takes. Right there, I'm through. Now, I was only swinging at, about 10% of my full potential, to where with the splitting maul, you're swinging it 100% every time. Now, as you can see, I'm having trouble getting it started. So what I can do is take my maul, make a couple hits with the maul. Now you see it did crack right there. So this one probably would have split. Once I made the initial split here, it makes this a lot smaller and easier to split. So typically when you use the wedge to make your initial split, and then you come back with the maul, it makes it a lot easier. But I'll just show you one more time. once you get that wedge started, you just kind of let the weight of the hammer do the work. And it comes right apart. See that? Now once you get your splitting wedge out of there, and you have a smaller piece, then you can typically go back to the maul. See, even there, this is some hard wood. That wedge is a lot easier. There, see how many hits that took? I got a big one here. Ah, that one's even bigger than the last one. See that? Didn't even crack it, just made an indent. But that gives me a spot to put the wedge. So I take my wedge and my hammer. I will admit, it's hard to get the wedge started sometimes. You gotta make a few more hits with your splitting maul. But swinging that splitting maul takes a heck of a lot more energy than using this sledgehammer. I'm basically just lifting it up and letting it fall. I'm not swinging all that hard. I'm letting the hammer do most of the work. I will admit, this big old thing's taking some serious hits, but I'd still rather do this than swing that maul. Every time you swing the maul, it gets stuck in the wood and you gotta pry it back out. You hear that? You can hear it popping. Now I got that wedge drove down in there a little bit too far. I'm not going to be able to get it back out. But I might be able to take my maul now and work it out. Get my wedge out of there. Now that it's broken apart, I might be able to get it with this. Now, I think most people would agree, splitting on a knot like that would have not been easy with just this by itself. This is probably not the best log to show you on, because it's not a good splitting log, but as you can see, it's at least possible with a wedge. I think this would be almost impossible with just the splitting maul. Those big pieces are not the best, just because of the grain of the wood. Maybe I can show you on this one. That would probably split with the splitting maul, but we're going to do it with the wedge anyways. See that? That was pretty easy. Now I'm going to try to do this piece with just the maul as a comparison. We'll see how it goes. With my luck, I'll do it in about 2 swings. It'd help if I could hit the same spot every time, wouldn't it? But like I said before, each swing with this is about 5 times the effort of swinging that sledgehammer. Because you're just not putting all that much into it, you're letting the weight of the hammer do the work. Now normally, once it's smaller like this, it splits a lot easier. One thing that nobody argue against is the fact that split wood burns good. So whether you think it's better to split with a maul or a wedge and hammer, that's up to you. But for me, the big ones that are hard to split, a lot less effort with these things. So, thanks for watching, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. And then just give it a couple good hits. Sometimes they're hard to start. Now you just give it a good whack. Dang it.